Father Casimir Cypher was a humble priest from Wisconsin who suffered brutal martyrdom in Honduras. This is a short biography of his life. He was born Michael Cypher in Wisconsin, USA in 1941. He had 8 brothers and 3 sisters. His family lived a very simple life on a cattle farm. As a child, he was a mediocre student, but he loved working with his hands. He was absent-minded and frequently misplaced things. He left school after the 8th grade in order to study at a conventual Franciscan minor seminary, taking the name Casimir at age 18. After his ordination, he felt called to serve in the missions of Latin America, but he knew no Spanish. He was assigned to a parish in California to help him learn the language. One of his parishioners there was the novelist Leonard Wibberley, who initially viewed Father Casimir as dull and stupid. Father Casimir was also relatively unkempt, and he earned the nickname Father Columbo, inspired by the television detective. Wibberley eventually came to realize that Father Casimir was a humble and compassionate priest. One day he offered his hand to Father Casimir and later said that he was charitable enough to take it, though I deserved to have him ignore me, for I had been a pompous ass in the way I had treated him. He was sent to Gualaco, Honduras in 1973, where it was hoped that he could help teach at the local seminary. Unfortunately, his Spanish was still poor, so instead he was assigned the difficult task of visiting remote mountain villages. He would spend weeks at a time hiking mountain trails and bringing the sacraments to poor peasant families. He learned how to communicate with the local people and loved sharing in their culture. When he occasionally returned to Gualaco, he spent time conversing with Mike Gable, a lay missionary. Gable was impressed with Father Casimir's spiritual depth and skill at poetry. Gable and Father Casimir also discussed the poverty in Honduras and the conflict between poor farmers and rich cattlemen who dominated the region. The farmers had recently begun to form peasant unions, and the cattlemen held the church responsible. He was later transferred to San Esteban, where parishioners suffered the same economic conditions. He said, "We're trying to help the kids get to high school and promote vocations to the priesthood and religious life. Since people here are poor in all aspects, it's a little tough. We're always short of funds." His work was very stressful, and in 1974 he told a friend, "I've been sort of sick for a while, physically, mentally, and spiritually." He developed an infection in his bloodstream and had to fly back to the US for treatment. While back in the US, Father Casimir officiated Mike Gable's wedding. Gable urged his friend not to return to Honduras because the political situation between the poor farmers and wealthy cattlemen was increasingly tense. Father Casimir replied, "I can't abandon my people at this time. I know there's trouble, but I have to go back." He returned to Honduras and continued his work. One day, in June 1975, he headed into the city of Juticalpa on the same day that a large agrarian reform demonstration was planned. While Father Casimir was initially unaware of the demonstration, he held a mass for some of the participants before their march began. Following the mass, the Honduran military attacked. Father Casimir was captured along with another priest, Father Ivan Betancourt, who is pictured here. Both priests were stripped of their clothes and subjected to brutal tortures before being killed. Some of the Union leaders and farmers, including women, were killed as well, reportedly in very gruesome and disturbing ways. The event is now known as the Horcones Massacre. Some of the perpetrators eventually served a single year in jail for their crimes. At the time of his death, Father Casimir was 34 and had only been a missionary for 2 years. He is still remembered fondly in Honduras, and clergy there are pushing for his canonization. According to the Franciscan Voice, Friar Casimir was a true son of St. Francis. His life was characterized by simplicity, personal poverty, and a good sense of humor. He painted, wrote poetry, and loved serving the poor and disadvantaged. May his example inspire us to love and serve Christ in the poor and marginalized.